Hey guys, now that you're going to be taking some pictures and taking some video in Heron TV, you got to learn how to use this camera. So, this is the camera you're going to be using for Heron TV. You'll notice that each one is labeled with a number on top, right? So that says Video 1 on there. You'll be assigned a different camera. Make sure you always use the same camera and make sure you always use the sign-out sheet that's on there. Alright, so let's get going how this camera works. So first off, here is the hand strap, and underneath here, right here, we have the plug-in. This is where you're going to plug it in so that it can be charged for the next class. If you have Heron TV, for example, on day 2 at the end of the day, there are 3 classes before you, so it's super important that these cameras get plugged in so that you're able to do the recording you need. Alright, the way that you turn these cameras on is really simple. All you have to do is just open up the viewfinder right here, just like that. And when you do that, you'll hear this little noise, the camera will open, and the screen will be black, and it'll usually say check whether lens cover is open. So what you're going to do is right here on the side, there's this button here, you're going to flip that so the lens opens. Please leave that closed anytime you're not recording. It's really important not to get smudges on the lens. Alright, so please don't change the settings too much on this camera. If you have a specific project later that you need to change some settings, we can talk about how to do that. But really just leave it alone because it works pretty well just by following the directions that I'm giving you right now. Okay, so real basically, if you need to record video, you just press this button on the back, this big red button, and look, it is recording. You can see on the screen here, it is actually recording. There's a little red circle. You'll also see the battery is flashing, letting you know that recording is happening. Whenever you're finished recording, you're going to go ahead and press that button on the back one more time and it'll stop. Alright, so pretty simple. That's how you record footage. It's all auto-focusing. You don't have to worry too much about that. Yeah, so that's how you record footage. The other thing that you can do is you can take pictures on here, and if you can see here, there's a little button that says Photo, and when you tap that, you'll hear this little noise, this chirp, and then a photo has actually been taken. Now, the drawback is you can't see the photo until you go ahead and copy it to your computer, but if you need to take photos with this, you can. You notice the grid lines are turned on, so just like you just learned, you can use rule of thirds, you can make sure that your horizons are level. Yeah, so that's how these cameras work. Now, anytime you go out and use one of these cameras, don't go and just use it just like I'm using it right now, because this is handheld, and handheld is going to look really shaky, okay? So we don't want to use shaky footage. Some of you guys want to think like you're a vlogger and you're carrying your camera around. Well, usually they are carrying either a gimbal or a miniature tripod that can help stabilize it a little bit. So it's really important that you're stabilizing your footage. So here's how you're going to stabilize your footage in this class. So since I'm not recording, I'm going to go ahead and close my lens cap, and I can just close the screen. Now, on the bottom of each camera there is a quick release plate, okay, right here. Please leave it on all the time. The threading in here is plastic, and the more we tighten it down and loosen it, the more likely it is to get stripped, and then it won't be able to be used at all. We already have one of these cameras that can't be used on a tripod, so please just leave the quick release plate on and it works. So all 9, or actually I guess there are 8 right now, 8 cameras that are at the front of the room all have the exact same quick release plate on the bottom, and this quick release plate connects to this part of the tripods that we have. So we have 8 tripods and we have 8 cameras all at the front of the room. Let me show you how this tripod works. Alright, so there is a screw, or a little knob on the back here. What you're going to do is you are going to unscrew it, right? So lefty-loosey. And as you unscrew it, the plate expands. Okay, that makes it so you're able to put the quick release plate into this mechanism. What you do is you go ahead and you put the camera on top of it with the knob behind the battery. Go ahead and slide this in just like this. Alright, and now it's in, but it's not secured, okay? It's still very loose. So what you need to do is tighten the knob down again, but just finger tight. Don't go ahead and crank it down. So that is nice and tight, and it's now on there. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tripod. So these tripods are on expandable legs. There are rubber stoppers at the bottom. Anytime you're filming indoors, just make sure they're all the way extended. There is a spike underneath there, and you don't want that to scratch any of our floors. Okay, so all you have to do is undo each one like this so that you can extend the tripod. And I'll try and do this right here in front of you, see if you can keep that in the frame so you can see how that works. And then you're able to expand the legs and set it down. You can even extend the top by lifting up like this, and I'm going to have to do it just a little bit more, so let me expand the legs just a bit more for purposes of you to be able to see how this tripod works for the video here. Okay, now what I really like about these tripods is it's on a ball head. Okay, and so what that means is you're able to level the video pretty easily once you're in here. So see how I've got my tripod head here? Even though this is definitely not level right now, what I can do is there's a knob, the largest knob on the tripod head. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, once again, lefty-loosey, and you'll notice the camera is now loose, okay? So what I can do is with the camera on, I can use those grid lines to line them up and make sure that my shot is level. And once my shot looks level here, let me do it from my side so I can see. Right, usually I'll use doorways or I will use other natural lines that I know are straight in the class. Then I'm going to tighten it back down, and then now I have a level shot. Okay, what I'm also can do with this then is I can swivel, right? So as you need to change your shot, you can move it around like that. And it's pretty simple. If you need it to be locked in place, this smaller knob on the front, what you're going to do is you're going to tighten this down, and then now it's going to stay stable. You have no excuse for not having a stable video shot, unless you're shooting in wind or something. Be careful if people are walking by the tripod. They're not the most stable things, so they may wiggle a little bit, but you can set up a shot and you can make it nice and level and nice and stable. So make sure you do that. Okay, so that is how this tripod works. To take the camera off the tripod, what you're going to do is you're going to do the exact same process but in reverse. And so what I'm going to do is this little knob on the back, I'm going to unscrew it to the left to loosen, right to tight. See, so left to loosen. And then now it almost comes off, but it's stuck on one thing because there's a safety, this little button right here. You have to do is you have to press that down and you have to pull the camera off. So now my camera is successfully off here. What I'll then do is I'll take it back to the bins at the front of the classroom. I'll make sure that it gets plugged in so that my next class can use it, and I'll sign it back in on the clipboard. So that is how you use these. Once you've watched this video, you can come and tell me, you can say, Mr. Oliver, I now know how to use those cameras. And once you do, you can show me that you know how to successfully unplug this camera, how to put it onto a tripod, how to take it off of a tripod, how to close the lens cap, all those things, because the better we can take care of our equipment, the longer it'll last and the better videos we'll make. So that's about it. Thanks for watching and enjoy using your cameras.